talked about single leg movement, understanding our substantial and insubstantial, and how if we can really focus in on that substantial and insubstantial single leg movement, we have the choice of moving forward or moving backward or moving side to side. So if we truly understand that substantial and insubstantial, we become more balanced in our movement. And we talked about the fluidity of our feet and how our feet are not only giving us information, being rooted and grounded and feeling that energy from the ground, but they also support the rotation, which in turn supports the power of our movement through that twist step. As we do that twist step and let our feet be fluid, we can rotate more and be more powerful in our movement. And then we talked about the geometry of Tai Chi and how that is also connected to the power of Tai Chi. In the circular movements, there's a lot of power, a lot of leverage that can be utilized with circular movements. But it's also, that circular movement is also part of the continuous flow of our form, which drives the relaxation in our movement as well. So these three concepts, the single leg movement, the fluidity of our feet, and the geometry of Tai Chi actually have a connection piece. And that connection piece can be found in one of the 10 essentials of Tai Chi. And that essential talks about the energy of Tai Chi being rooted in the feet, issued by the legs, governed by the waist, and expressed in the fingers. So if you look at that essential, which is really upper and lower follow one another, rooted in the feet, issued by the legs, governed by the waist, expressed in the fingers. Governed by the waist, moving from the dantian, is that connection piece. So we're going to look at that today, of how do we move from the dantian in such a way that it is governing our movement and that it's providing that balance and power and fluidity and relaxation in our movement. So let's call back wave hands like clouds. We talked about it last week, of the circular motion. That's a very clear circular motion. But we also talked about it when we talked about our substantial and insubstantial changes. We have to empty this leg in order to move to the side, and then allow this leg to now become empty, to come in. That governing by the waist happens because we want to bring this center of mass over our base of support so that we can be balanced. So if you bring your weight over to the right and begin your wave hands like clouds, think about moving this dantian over this solid column now, this base of support, as you rotate. And then you allow that right leg to become empty. But then this dantian has to rotate, move that center of mass over this base of support, so that now you have a solid column that's very rooted. And now you have a very powerful, fluid motion in wave hands like clouds. Let's move to the right now with our wave hands like clouds. Try to control that movement from the dantian, not from your hands. That power will be expressed through the hands, but this is the powerhouse. This is the connection point. This is what's allowing that energy from the ground to be transferred out to your hands, allowing you to be balanced in the fight, allowing you to have more power in that movement. Let's look at part the wild horse's mane with the same kind of idea, holding that ball to the right, stepping out left, rotating that, using your rotation to bring that dantian over this base of support. And now, as you utilize your twist step, it's even more powerful, supporting that rotation in that movement, allowing your dantian to fully rotate. If your feet are fluid and you're using that twist step, you're allowing that dantian to govern that movement and allow that power in part the wild horse's mane. If we call back what we worked on last week of snake creeps, pheasant stands, everybody's favorite movement, right? When we said there was a circle here, and then as we turn and there's a horizontal circle here, bringing your weight over to the right, stepping out with your left. Allow that circle to happen here, but then moving that dantian, that creates that horizontal circle, and now you have to move that center of mass over your base of support in order to come into your pheasant stands. Try that again, bringing that weight over to the right, stepping out left. Use that circular motion, let your feet be fluid, feeling that weight shift, allowing that back leg to become completely insubstantial to come into your pheasant stance. The dantian, in terms of exercise physiology, we talk about it a lot as far as this is our transfer box of power. You have to bring power from the bottom to the top, or you're not fully utilizing your body. So as an athlete, they understand this is where the power is. This is where I need to, what I need to utilize in my movement to be the most effective athlete. It's the same thing in Tai Chi, and it's the same thing in your everyday life. If you learn to move from your dantian, really understanding that substantial and insubstantial, feeling the ground with your feet, but allowing this area to govern your movement, you're going to be more balanced. You're going to be more effective in your movement because you're not going to be falling. You're not going to be just falling forward. It's also going to be an easier movement. Remember, we talked about the circular motion is part of the relaxation. Think about it this way. If you allow your head and shoulders to lead your movement, this is what happens, right? And that's pretty obvious as far as falling. This is not a good way to move in any way, even going backwards. That's, if you allow your head and shoulders to lead the movement, it doesn't work. It's not effective. It's very risky. If you allow your feet in this way to lead the movement, right? You're focused on, I've just got to have my foot in the right position, and you're shuffling, right? That again is actually a very risky movement. However, if you put together, if you coordinate all of the substantial and insubstantial, the fluidity of your feet, letting them support that rotation in your movement. If you think about being relaxed in your movement and let the dantian govern what's happening, this is a very confident, supported, good posture movement that is at a whole lot less risk for falling. And that's what we want in our everyday movement. It's what we want in our Tai Chi. So coordinating all of that through this transfer box, rooted in the feet, issued by the legs, governed by the waist, and then expressed through the hands, through the fingers, in the fingers.